Hello, and welcome to part 2 of the Fab Shop Solidworks tutorial. In the previous video, we showed you how to make this basic cup. It was made using sketches, boss, a cut, a sweep, and a couple of fillets. I will now show you some alternate ways in which you can achieve a similar and somehow more interesting result. So we start a new part. And notice how the previous cup has a main body, which is a simple cylinder, which is actually symmetrical around its axis. We can take advantage of this fact and create a cylinder just like the previous one. So all I'm doing right now is making a cross section and I will now revolve it around this axis of revolution, which I just specified. So this is a simple way to create the main body of my cup. However, since I used a revolve feature instead of an extrude feature, I can actually get rid of this straight line and replace it with a spline in order to achieve a more organic shape. By moving around the control points of my spline, I can control the resulting shape. I can also manipulate the control vectors of the spline to change the shape. We now exit the sketch. On the previous model, we made a sketch on this face, which was offset to the outer edge, and then we did an extrude cut. However, if we did this in this particular case, it would result in a part that doesn't have uniform thickness. When dealing with more complex shapes such as this one, it is often useful to use the shell command. The shell feature asks you to select the face which you would like to remove. So we will get rid of this top face, and now we're going to specify a thickness, which is 1/4 inch. In just one step, we have completely shelled out our shape. Now it's time to add the handle. To do this, we're going to start by making our control spline. So once we've moved around the control points and we're happy with the way it looks, we can exit the sketch, and the next step is to create a reference plane. So this plane needs to be coincident to the starting point of my spline, but it must also be parallel to the right plane. So now that my plane is fully defined, I click OK, and I make a sketch on it. In the previous model, we made a handle that had a circular cross-section. In order to keep things more interesting, we're going to make one with a rectangular cross-section. Okay, I have aligned the center of my rectangle with the starting point of my control spline. So now I click on it, and I click again to generate the rectangular cross-section. I can now exit the sketch, go into the Features tab, and select the Swept Boss Base feature. I start by selecting the rectangular cross-section, and then I select the guide curve and hit OK. As you can see, I now have a bunch of excess material in the inside of my cup. To get rid of it, we can use a Revolved Cut command. But first we need to make a sketch. So we select the right plane, make a sketch on it. And now we would like to import the intersection curve defined by the intersection between the interface of the cup and the sketch plane that I'm currently using. To do that, I go to this drop-down menu and select intersection curve. I then select the inside face of the cup, and Solidworks generates these two splines over here. I can simply delete one of them, and then I must close my sketch. It's important to note that this line should be vertical and also aligned with our center point. We now exit the sketch and select the Revolved Cut feature. And then we define the axis of revolution and hit OK. Now you can see that the excess material has been removed. We can now add some finishing touches by applying a fillet on the top lip. Now we will simply just select the edges of our rectangular handle. And we can create a separate fillet between the interface of the handle and the main body of the cup. As you can see, by using a similar amount of features, we have created two different cups.